everyone, and welcome back to the Jess channel. Today I wanted to do a special video that I've never done before. I wanted to tell you guys my testimony, and I'm actually sitting outside today. It's so sunny and pretty warm, but I wanted to come out here with my coffee and just have a little chat with you guys and just tell you how God has worked in my life. So I'm really happy you're here. Make sure to stick to the end of the video because I have something that you guys are going to want to be a part of, and I am so excited about it, and I would love if you could join me in this. So make sure to watch till the end. So I guess we'll start at the beginning. I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up with a home base being where I live now, but I moved around a lot as a kid for my parents' job. We lived in an RV for probably, I don't know, for about 7 years of my life, I'd say. And when I was around 7, we did settle down back where our house was. Figured it was about time to put some roots down, but the RV and the traveling and the job was what prompted my mom to homeschool us. So we were raised homeschooled. I have never been to a public school ever. I've never been public schooled, but as kids our mom would teach us scripture every week, and we had it put to memory, to songs. We were taught the books of the Bible and the commandments. So I was raised in a Christian home, which is a huge blessing that I cannot be grateful enough for. I know that so many people are raised in broken homes and in hurting homes, and not everybody has that blessing to be raised in a home that honors Christ and that teaches the children to do the same. But thankfully, and I'm so grateful to say that me and my brother were, and I'm not sure exactly how long it was after we moved back home, but one summer at VBS, I was filling out this little worksheet that my Sunday school teacher had gave me at VBS, and it was a little checkbox paper that said, have you been baptized? Yes, no, I'd like to. And I checked yes because I believe I was 9 or 10 at this point, and every week at church our pastor would lead us in a prayer at the end, a prayer of salvation. If anybody had accepted Jesus, pray this prayer, ask him into your heart. And I was young, immature, I didn't really know what a personal relationship with Jesus looked like, so every week I would say the prayer, and so I'd think, I'm definitely saved. I say it every week, I am for sure saved. But I didn't understand the gravity of actually asking Jesus into my heart, starting a personal relationship with him, and you know, not just living off of my parents' faith. But like I said, I was young at the time and still figuring out what a personal relationship with Jesus meant. Anyway, back to VBS. I checked yes, or I'm sorry, I think the paper said, are you saved? Have you asked Jesus in your heart? It wasn't baptized. And I had checked yes, and luckily my teacher was a friend of my mom's. She reached out to my mom and said, Jessica checked yes, I just wanted to ask, or she was asking if I had asked Jesus in my heart because I was young. And my mom came into my room that night and she said, so I hear that you checked yes on your paper, that you have asked Jesus into your heart. And I said, yes, I pray the prayer every week, or something like that. And my mom was like, okay, well, she kind of explained that it's not just a prayer that gets Jesus into your heart. It's fully surrendering your life to him, giving him your love and devotion, and starting a personal relationship. And as a young 9-year-old, I had been so nonchalant about just saying the prayer. I didn't really know. I was just very naive. So that night, me and my mom prayed, and that night is when I truly gave my heart over to Jesus and surrendered everything. And from that point on, I feel like I matured, and my faith became my own. I started to pursue Jesus in my own time. No, that's my coffee. and the relationship became personal and not just, you know, a tradition, not just what my parents told me. It became real, and Jesus truly came into my heart that night, and it's been just so amazing since then. And I used to feel like my testimony just wasn't much, because you hear all those incredible stories, like a kid finding Jesus in juvie, or like running into a Christian along the streets and accepting Jesus, or like living in a different country and a missionary comes and you accept Jesus. I used to think that my testimony wasn't good enough because it wasn't exciting. But after having further conversations with my parents, I realized that the most exciting part of a testimony is that you were saved and redeemed by Jesus. And I had that in my testimony, I do. And so I've come to realize that I don't need an epic recovery from drugs. I don't need an amazing story about how I was in a car wreck and was accepted Jesus in the hospital. I don't need that, because the most exciting and joyful part of every testimony is that Jesus saves. And he saved me. He transformed my heart from this little, naive, disrespectful child to someone who is seeking after Christ and constantly wanting to honor him and glorify him. And he just changed me. He reformed my heart, and I'm so grateful for that. And I feel like realizing that my testimony doesn't have to have an amazing, exciting, you know, life event, and the fact that he is enough, Jesus is enough for me, it just helps me realize that Jesus saved me from those things that are in so many other people's testimonies. Instead, he chose to save me right where I was at, and that was a young, naive child. And I'm so grateful that he saved me from those things that could have taken over my life. He definitely had so much grace on me. And I wanted to read you guys some of the core Bible verses that have really just helped me in my walk of faith and my relationship with Jesus. Just some verses that really stand out to me and will forever mean so much to me. I feel like the first verse that really impacted me was Romans 12:2. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and pleasing and perfect." That one really helped me when struggling with just the flesh and worldly desires and just not conforming to the mold that this world wants everyone to conform to. Jesus is a different mold, and I want to conform to him. And then the second verse that has really impacted me is Ecclesiastes 3:11. "He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from beginning to the end." Last year and the year before, I was really struggling with just thoughts about my future and worrying about my future. Of course, during 2020, everybody was so unsure about their future and what was going to happen. And it was not only that, but just worrying about what was coming up and what was going to happen, and that I wasn't prepared. And that verse really resonated in my heart. I felt like God was just teaching me to trust him in that verse, and that he does put eternity into man's heart so that we cannot know what he is up to, what he has for the future. It teaches us to trust him. If we were to know everything in the future, would we have a need to trust God with it? No, because we already know it. I feel like he gives peace that surpasses all understanding. And worry is a sin. Worry is something that a lot of people struggle with, and I feel like we can just dismiss it as a feeling, but it is actually a sin because we are not putting those thoughts into God's hands and instead worrying about them. And Jesus talks about it in Matthew a lot. Do not worry. Can I add another hour to your life? No. So I guess that leads us to about now. This past year I have grown a lot. God has taught me about so many things that I didn't even think I would ever learn about. I mean, He's taught me so much about, you know, His truth. He's taught me about learning to recognize false doctrine and which worship songs are truly worshiping Him and which are just false theology. He's taught me so much that I never thought I would learn, and it all just helps me to glorify Him all the more and be able to serve Him more effectively and be more persistent in my faith and through trials. And currently He's teaching me that if all were to fade away, His word is all I need, and that His word is a lamp to my feet. And I've been struggling with going back to His word during the day after my morning quiet time, and I feel like He is slowly teaching me that, like I said, His word is all I need and that everything could fade away, and the importance of knowing and reading His word should be my top priority. So He's still teaching me that now, but I'm confident that He will teach my heart to learn to love reading His word, to love spending hours in His word. And I'm just grateful that He's such a graceful and gracious teacher. I definitely need a lot of grace and a lot of patience, and I'm so glad that He's such a loving Father. And I'm glad that you are here to listen to how God has worked in my life. I actually wanted to make a proposal. I have an idea. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I wanted to involve you guys in this. I wanted to make a praise video. I want to make a video that strictly and explicitly just praises the Lord for what He's done in our lives, what He's done to us, to our hearts. So, if you would like to share your testimony with me, I would love it if you would be a part of one of my next videos coming up. I have a P.O. box that will be listed down below in the description. If you would like, you can write your testimony out in a letter and send it straight to my P.O. box. If you would like it to remain anonymous, you are welcome to leave it as anonymous. If you'd like me to say your name or initials, that's good too. If you would like it not to go public on a video, but you would still like to share it, just notate that in your letter. And I just feel like God deserves our praise. He deserves to be recognized for what He's done in our lives. So I hope that you will join me in this and write down your testimony, write what God's done for you, seal it up in a letter, and send that on over to my P.O. box. And in a video soon, I will read your testimonies so that the world can see how good God is and just how righteous He is and how full of glory He is. And we can take that video and praise Him with it. So if you would like to be a part of that, just write down your testimony and send it to me. I will be filming the testimony video sometime in June, so please have your testimony stuck in an envelope and sent, let's just say, before June 12th. Have it in the mail before June 12th. So excited for this, guys. I cannot wait to glorify God with this. It's gonna be awesome, and I can't wait for you to be a part of this. I love you guys so much. Thank you for letting me be honest and transparent with you guys about how God has worked in my life. Thank you for creating such a beautiful space and community and just a friendship. I'm so grateful to have you, and I'll see you next week. Bye!